The following program is made possible with the support of
BB&T, best bank in town since 1872. Papa John's Pizza, better ingredients, better pizza. Cookout, hamburgers, hot dogs, and great milkshakes. ESPN 630 AM, Wilmington's all sports station. And Sunny 104.5, Wilmington's best mix while you work.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Sports Roundtable. I'm Marty Fuhrer. We head into Week 8 of the high school football season, and as we do, we're starting to get a picture of what some conference races are beginning to look like. And let's start with a matchup on Friday night. New Hanover at Ashley, and Tom Eanes alongside. And Coach, you said coming into the game, you had some concerns about some speed, and that speed was the difference.
Well, we don't match up real well. They're a very strong football team to put on top with having good speed. And so it's a really tough matchup. And then we didn't get a lot of pressure on Coleman boy, and he throws the ball real well anyway. So you can imagine now with no pressure, he was able to deliver and do a great job. But I thought they'd really played very well. The 3 years I played against New Hanover, I thought this team had more of a chip on their shoulder out there to do something. So I would really give Coach Mott a lot of credit for the way he had his kids ready to play.
I know you were pleased with the effort that your team gave from the beginning straight through, as far as just continuing to grind through.
They did play hard. I had some kids that don't know anything about anything that walk around school and know, well, we're scared Friday night. I said our kids weren't scared. Our kids played hard. It's just they were a better football team. And that just sums it up best. And I think anybody that saw out there the other night had to give credit where credit was due, and that was with New Hanover.
Okay, let's take a look at some highlights then if we can. Ashley against New Hanover from this past Friday night.
I couldn't really tell much on that one here, but we had a few plays that we played fairly well defensively, and it was Mike Rowland and I think Frankie Keller and a couple of those guys getting in, and Ann Andrews was our main ball carrier the other night. It seemed like he got a lot of touches, and we were able to do a few things. That's just where we can run the triple and we can make a few yards. We didn't bust a whole lot, and that goes back to their speed and the way they're coached up. They stopped a lot of your big plays. That's Ann again, and you see he was the main ball carrier, and that kid's really sucked it up because he's had a number of injuries and he's playing all banged up. We weren't able to get Jesse going much. We had a few good plays inside, but not as much as we wish we had. And got a little pressure, flushed him out, and got him to throw an incompletion there one of the few times, but it took a little while to get to him. Their offensive line did a tremendous job on that. That's Ann Andrews again on the sweep. Offensive line, though, I was pleased with. I thought they played fairly well, considering those young men are good football players, but I was real pleased with my offensive line. They made some checks to the way the fronts were that we maybe not have been able to do in the past. That's Daniel Barrett, and I can't tell who the other one was there that got the pressure and got the sack. I think it was Anthony Boone. On that last one, that was Bruce Kopka knocking one down. And this is Chris Kane once again pitching it to Ant. And I thought DC Russ out of split end number 9 for a sophomore did a good job, and real pleased with his blocking in the ball game. We had a few, but not enough of those plays.
Got the corner turned on that one.
Yep, that was Ant again on the sweep. And he was just able to break it for probably our biggest gain of the night. And like I said, we got a few of these with Jesse inside, but not like we'd like to. And that's Stephon Russell carrying the football there. Steph's been playing since the other two A-backs went out, and he's done a pretty good job for us. We weren't able to throw the football very well. They did a real good job there. We finally completed one to Connor Garnett, but I thought they did a good job of covering us up deep, making us try and throw short, and we just didn't do a good job, and that's our only touchdown was Ann Andrews on the touchdown there on the sweep. Little flare pass, that's Mike Rowland on the tackle, and Russell Corbett over getting into play. See the time? I mean, you just can't give a good quarterback that kind of time. And that's Ann again. I think it's Daniel Barrett actually on the carry there. So. This is Mike Rowland. He was a split end 2 weeks ago, but we've had to give him a crash course in being a running back because we're just starting to run out of running backs.
Okay, bounce back this week. What are some of the things that you're going to address the team at practice?
Well, we've got to put New Hanover behind us because that game's over with, and we've got another tough competition coming up with Hoggard, and Coach Brazel and his teams are always very well coached and very disciplined, and so we've got to get our kids to worry about what we do, go back to practice, and do the best we can. I mean, you know, we don't have any easy ones left on the schedule, and we just got to have to play it as hard as we can and just let the chips fall where they will.
Hopefully get off to the good start so you can play with the lead and be able to grind that clock a little bit.
Well, you know, they're explosive and it's over at their place, so we do need to get off to a good start. Like I said, with the last 3 weeks, we haven't really started fast. It would be nice one time to come out and, you know, let the kids get a little momentum that way. So we'll do our best.
Okay. Ashley, at Hoggard, it's this coming Friday night, 7:30 kickoff. We'll continue on with the program right after this. Stay with us. Welcome back to the program. Well, let's stay with that Ashley New Hanover game and switch to the other sideline. And Kevin, I know you're pleased with how the team came out as far as focused and, you know, basically since the word go, able to take control.
That's Coach Inge and myself were talking before, and he said it seemed like our kids were kind of playing with a chip on their shoulder, and I would have to agree. After the Hoggard loss, our kids come back, and the weather was insane and crazy and wet and everything else all week long, but in the past, it would have been very difficult to get our kids motivated at times to go practice in that, and our kids have kind of got a chip on their shoulder right now, and I think they've bought into what we've been preaching all year long is we just got to keep getting better, and if we keep getting better, we got a chance to be pretty good.
Okay, plenty of highlights for you. Let's take a look at it if we can. Hanover taking on Ashley, and we are underway.
Yeah, I don't want to watch that Hoggard film again. That was not a whole lot of fun. Malachi Mosley right there, he's getting better. He's been banged up. I guess he's missed 2 or 3 games this year, and he's still not 100%, but he's a little bit better now than he was the 3 weeks before. And he's getting some of his speed back and explosion and change directions. Still minus Teron Piedra and Javion, and we're hoping to get Teron back, and Javion should be back this week. So that'll going towards the playoffs, getting those 2 guys offensively, that's really going to help. Defensively, I thought our kids did a very good job. With the weather, we really didn't get the look. I don't think you can simulate what they do anyway with your kids and understand the timing and angles of where they're going to attack you. We tried. I was trying to play scout team quarterback and with a bum foot and 4 knee surgeries. That was ugly. But that way they could see where the pass were going to be and do that. But we didn't really get a good opportunity on a dry field to get that look, and our kids handled it fairly well. We did a much better job covering this year. I felt like last year we did a decent job against them up front and in the box, but then we went to sleep and didn't cover anybody. Ron Murphy, we've been waiting for him to really break out. We feel like he has so much potential, and he just hadn't had that breakout game, and Friday he did. And when we at Ashley, we used the facilities that the general population uses at halftime, and so I escorted my team to the restroom, and his daddy was in there, and he was making sure I knew that it was about time we got his son the ball and all that good stuff. So that's always fun, and I guess that was the appropriate time sitting next to a commode. But anyway, here's him right in there catching another one. He had a big night, and Ward, like I said, he made very good decisions, threw the ball, you know, all night long. He threw it the way we know he can throw it, and that was good to see him kind of take that sigh of relief and just relax and play football. Offensive line did a great job all night long. giving him time and protecting him, and we're getting better up front protecting, and those guys just, like the whole team, we just got to keep getting better. We tried to go into the game with the mindset if we could get them in third and long situations, we could take some chances, and the few times that we were able to do that, we were able to put pressure on the quarterback. Right here, Ramon he's a tremendous football player, and he makes you look like you actually know some football. We tried to do some adjustment and play little games, not very much. We tried to keep it simple. For the most part, I thought we did a great job defending the triple. We struggled with their toss and handling that. We didn't do a very good job forcing and setting the edge, and we've got to get better than that. And that's the very first thing we're going to do in that period today at practice is we've got to do a better job of setting that edge. Right here, Ward's got plenty of time, or he doesn't complete this, and he looked over, he was looking front side and then went to back side, and Reese was able to make the play. Right here might have been the only time we played the toss well all night long. Kayshawn Bragg took a great path, and Kayshawn's just had a tremendous year. He's a senior. He might have maybe got 20 plays last year as a junior. When opportunities rose in those games where we got some subs in, it seemed like he was always hurt. Right here, blocked punt, and I know they had a backup kicker in, and he got a little too tight, and Nakima saw it and went, and I think he had to take 2 steps with them 6'6" long legs of his. And he's a kid that he doesn't even know, he doesn't have a clue how athletic he is. He's got better bend and flexibility for his height than any kid I've ever coached, and he's still a baby giraffe, and tremendous athlete. And if he'll commit to football, I think his mind's kind of set on being a basketball guy, but basketball guys are a dime a dozen. He could be a major D1 talent. Garrett Walston right there was a kid that played a lot at quarterback. We rotated him and Burke on JV, and he played a lot of H-back and wide receiver for the JVs when he wasn't in at quarterback, and we just needed another weapon with all our guys injured, and he stepped up and now has 3 touchdowns. Right here, Kenny Jarrett still going. I call him a Timex because I say he takes a licking and keeps on ticking, and what a great example. He's a little bitty old dude, and pound for pound, he's the strongest kid in this class. I mean, he's 340-pound hang cleaner with no straps. He squats 460, and we're maxing out this week, and so we'll see how much he's gone. Right here, Trey Age, a sophomore from Burke Estes, sophomore, and we had 3 sophomore offensive linemen and a sophomore running back in there. We got to play a lot of young guys and give them some reps. You were able to put some of your players that have a lot of speed in that open field. That's right. And I'm not real smart. You can look at this face. If I'm as dumb as I look, I'm pretty dumb. But if you fat cow can find green grass, imagine what an athlete can do. And we try to put our kids in a situation where they can do something in space, and a lot of times that works and a lot of times it don't. But we try to get the ball to our playmakers with a lot of green grass and try to get a mismatch. Quickly, Laney at home. 2 teams with a lot of speed on a very fast track. Well, when we say it every year, but when Laney and New Hanover get together, it's like Hoggard and New Hanover. I mean, you can throw records out and all that stuff. The biggest thing for our kids is this is 3 weeks in a row we're playing the #1 team in the conference, and that's the message we're selling to our kids. When we played Hoggard, they were tied for first. Going in this past week with Ashley, they were tied for first. Right now, Laney's in sole place, first place. They're the only team with 3 conference wins. Hoggard and second with 2. And going into last week, we were last place as far as all that paperwork and drawing it up. But our kids have got to look at this week as another week to get better. And if we do that and we just keep staying the course, I really do believe this team can go a long way in the playoffs and make some noise. But we've got to stay the course and just continue to get better. 7:30 Friday night at Legion, Laney and Hanover. We'll continue on right after this. Stay with us. Welcome back to the program. Let's swing over to Laney, where the Bucks are 3-0 in conference play. And Coach, you preach it each week that the defense can set the table, and defense really set the mood for that game with Thompson.
Yeah, we're just kind of getting used to that with our defense. We expect our defense to play well, and they've been doing a great job. And I've actually never seen them this fired up before a football game. The Topsails starting to become a rivalry between the kids. You know, the close location, that's always great for a rivalry, and the kids went into it just like that, homecoming game, and our kids were ready to go right from the opening snap.
You mentioned fired up and the energy. I know you were thrilled with the crowd, a lot of support.
Yeah, it was probably the best Laney crowd that I've seen there. Obviously for the Hogger and Hanover game, there's a lot more people there, but the best Laney crowd that I've ever seen there. And for a homecoming game, that was awesome with our open up the field house so everybody could go see the new field house. And it was just exciting taking some alumni through the new field house and just from what they came from and, you know, where it is today. And, you know, they were a major part of the things that we're doing now. So it's cool to see their eyes and to, you know, have everybody show that Laney pride.
Okay, we'll take a look at some highlights then if we can. Laney against Topsail, and we mentioned your defense came out big, and you guys jumped on the board early.
Yeah, we did well. Offensively, we had a couple miscues right in the beginning, but this is our freshman, Amik, on the third play of the game, and just kind of showing his speed for a freshman. That's very impressive. We were all in the booth really impressed with how well he got the corner there. And this is kind of what you saw all night from our defense, flying to the football, not giving up any big plays. And just doing a great job defensively. We could have put about 15 of those plays on there. This is Tyreek reading our little triple here. Doing a good job of keeping his shoulder squares, getting upfield, and got a little late hit there out of bounds, but real tough kid. Very strong in the weight room, so very deceptive when you try to tackle him, how strong he is. And this is just Tyreek kind of scrambling. Most of the time it's kind of a draw here, but he keeps his eyes downfield, does a good job. And we actually practice that scramble drill a couple times in the last few weeks, just so our receivers know what they're doing in the scramble drill. This is just Javon, another counter again, just running through tackles, and he's a tough kid to bring down once he gets his momentum going. And
so put him in that second level.
Yeah, it's great just to have that triple there, just to have those options with the inside and Tyreek and the freshman on the outside, and then defense just flying to the football. Just doing a great job there. I think Jodeci coming up on the corner there, and Tyreek just doing a great job of understanding what we're trying to get out of each play. You know, sometimes it's not exactly where we needed it to be, but he understands what we're trying to get out of it. We just got to work on him throwing on time. He's struggled a little bit just to throw on time. You'll see here again, he's a little hitch in the step, almost gets picked, but it's a nice strong throw. Kelly with a great catch, and just doing a lot better catching the football and receiver-wise. Doing a much better job. And special teams has been big for us. I think last 2 weeks we've definitely had 2 punt returns with one went to the house and got called back I think last week, and then we had another one with some decent distance, and that's Kelly just running hard. You know, he's elusively fast. And this one our big D tackles, Chris with a great tackle there, and this more towards the end of the game. I don't know why they were running the quarterback towards the end of the game, but kind of cleaned him up here. And then Sam Frank seemed to get an interception. Like last 3 games, he's always had an interception, and he almost took to the house. And this is what happens here again on 4th down situation. Coach Topsail coach deciding to go for it here towards the end of the game. And Sam comes up big here with the pick and does a good job on the return. It's great to be able to make fun of him again because he didn't get in the end zone though right at the end. So that'll be a good conversation here on Monday. We love picking on him a little bit, but man, just a great kid, just everything we want out of one of our athletes, and makes the most out of his body.
That defense, you can see that they're swarming to the ball, but you can see everybody's disciplined and staying in position.
Yeah, we played a little different front. We played a 5-man front, so just a little bit different than what we normally do. And the kids accepted it well, and they made the reads properly and still just flying around. That's the key to our defense.
I know one thing that you've talked about, obviously there's a lot of competition for position, for playing time within practice. That just makes you better.
It does. We brought in an unbelievable amount of freshmen. There's like 60, 65 freshmen we brought in this year, and that just adds a lot of depth to the program and what we're able to do with different set of kids, and definitely with 2 platooning, and just focusing on one position. It's really helped us out this year with the competition.
And the past couple of weeks where you've kind of been able to put your stamp on the game early, you've been able to give some of those 2nd and 3rd tier guys some meaningful time.
We have. We actually kept 8 JV guys up and not even let them play JV on Thursday, and we just kept them up on Friday thinking that they were going to get some playing time, and no matter what we promised them, we were going to work you in no matter what we did. And they've got the ability, and they had a chance under the lights, so it's been a good time for us.
We talked about a couple of weeks back, obviously, you go on the road, but the confidence, you can see this team bouncing back from that loss?
Yeah, definitely from the New Bern game. We didn't execute the way we needed to, and we needed these couple weeks to get back on track and just kind of play against ourselves for these next couple weeks. And that's why we played a game. The next 3 weeks, make or break you. So our kids are excited. You can already tell in the hallway on Monday, and looking to try to compete against Hanover and take it to the fourth quarter and see what happens.
I was about to say, you go to Legion this week. Mm-hmm. Fast track. Both teams have a lot of speed.
Yeah, we just we got to make sure we don't give up the big plays, and for the most part, just be disciplined. If we do what we're supposed to do, and we know how to line up and we know how to do our assignments, we'll be okay. We'll do a great job against a really tough Hanover team. Okay,
that'll be Laney and Hanover at Legion this coming Friday night, 7:30 kickoff. We'll continue on. Hoggard's next. Stay with us. Welcome back to the program. Well, our final segment is with Hoggard, and the Vikings enjoyed an off week, which means does Coach get an off week? How does that work?
Well, I'll tell you, we give ourselves a little time off for sure. We took Monday off. Felt like we've really been pushing the kids hard, really going back to as soon as school got out, really. We've had a good summer in the weight room and a lot of passing leagues and been grinding away pretty hard. And so this was our first chance to have a break. And so Monday we gave the guys off. Then Tuesday we had a shorter practice. The parents wanted to cook a meal, so we had a little spaghetti dinner there at the field house for the guys just as a treat. Then Wednesday and Thursday we really tried to work hard. Obviously went into the week, I think, with a couple objectives. One was to try and get healthy. So we didn't do as much hitting maybe as we would on a typical open week, but just trying to get healed up. I think 2, we wanted to clean up some fundamentals. We worked some extra time on special teams. We worked extra time just on blocking and tackling and form tackling, staying off the ground, and ball security and things like that. We took a little peek at Ashley in terms of what we knew they had done, particularly their offense, which is kind of unique to defend.
Right.
And then we wanted to try and get in shape. We felt like that was important too. We felt like we could get a lot of running done and not risk any injuries, and yet maybe increase or improve our conditioning. We had backed off the last week or 2, just feeling like we were maybe starting to get a little dead-legged and tired and wanting to try and keep a fresh horse for Friday nights. But with the open week and the time they've had off, we felt like we could go back to some county fairs and some hundreds and things like that at the end of practice, just to emphasize the running. So a good week for us to try and get healthy, try and clean up some fundamentals, and also maybe look a little bit at Ashley, which again kind of presents you with some unique things for our defense.
I know ideally you can't always lay out your schedule the way you want to,
right.
But the fact that you got the break after the Hanover game, I think just even mentally allowed you to step back without having to come out right away.
Yeah, I think it was huge for us. We probably would have had a little bit of a hangover from the success of that previous Friday night, and so it was good for us to have a full weekend to kind of work through it, and a Monday off, and then we started to kind of bring them back down to earth, particularly Wednesday. Tuesday we watched film of the Hanover game, and there's a lot on that film to be corrected. So while it was a good experience to watch a good win, it was also an opportunity for us to point out some things that we've got to do better moving forward. We've got a critical 4 weeks left in our season. Everything is out there in front of us. Our season is still yet to be defined, and these next 2 weeks are critical when we play our in-town rivals in Ashley and Laney. And so it's just real important for us to continue to work to get better. And I think the fundamentals is always a good place to start.
And, as you mentioned, this break also gave you a chance to just focus on that last quarter of the season.
Yeah, and, getting healthy, we were able to bring some young guys up and work with them a little bit, take a look at them, sneak a peek at them, so to speak, just to see if they're guys that either can help us right away, over these next 4 weeks of our conference season, or the 8-quarter opportunity that we have with some of them. And then long term, just thinking in terms of projecting out to 2014, which of these guys may be needed to step into starting positions next year, and just to take a look at them and coach them up a little bit. So it was important for us. I think the open week, although we really didn't have a lot of control, in fact we had very little control over the way the schedule fell, I think in hindsight right now it really worked out perfectly, particularly with us getting the New Hanover win, to have a week off right here to kind of get healthy and try and refresh ourselves mentally for the last 4 weeks of the season.
And as a staff, as a coach, it's got to be nice to all of a sudden have a period within the season, especially this late in the season, where you can sit back and actually teach versus prepare for an opponent?
Yeah, I think you can. You know, so much of what you do during a typical week is game oriented, game planning oriented. And there's some things that sometimes you wish you had an extra 5, 10, 15 minutes on the field to address, whether it's just stance and starts or the fundamentals of good tackling. Some of the little building blocks that make for a good Friday night that sometimes you're so busy worried about getting lined up right defensively or making sure we understand the routes that the other team runs or whatever it might be, that you have to move quickly through some of those fundamentals. And so it was good for us to not have that Friday game pressure and to kind of treat it almost like maybe a first or second week in August where we could step back and just try and coach up football.
Okay, take a look a little bit at Ashley. First of all, it's an offense that's tough for you to duplicate during the week.
It is. It's a headache. Coach Haynes does such a great job, and it's a unique offense. I've gotten to the point now where I think I'd rather play a wing T team, which is a lot for me to say because I used to hate those wing T teams. But Coach Haynes does such a great job with the scheming of this offense. He knows it inside and out. There's no way we can come close to knowing all the adjustments that he can make based on what we're doing defensively. It's a unique offense. It's very assignment oriented. Somebody's got to be on dive, somebody's got to be on quarterback, somebody's got to be on pitch. I can tell you 2 years ago, I think they scored 35 points on us, maybe 36 points, I can't remember. And last year, although we were able to shut them out, they had 69 snaps on offense. We only had 6 meaningful possessions offensively. And that's the concern is they play keep away, with the ball and shorten the game down. And if you're not really efficient offensively and they make a few plays, which they're very capable of doing, they've been doing it all year long, suddenly it's a 14-7 game and you're scrambling trying to make plays to see if you can get it in overtime or whatever. And so that's our concern. We've got to have a great week of practice. We were able to introduce some concepts last week, but we've got to clean it up this week and really just be assignment oriented and disciplined. And hope that defensively we can continue to improve as we've done. And we've got some young guys out there that this will be their first time defending an offense that's run this well. It's so unique and run this well. So it's going to be a challenge for us.
Okay, that again will be at Hoggard, 7:30 kickoff. Ashley and the Vikings at Hoggard, 7:30. The other game again, Laney and New Hanover at Legion. And we'll have all the highlights for you next time right here on Sports Roundtable. Good night, everybody.